Okay, full pelters. Well, what a beautiful day to be doing a bike review. And finally, the CFMOTO 450 MT. I'm excited. Yeah, so the CFMOTO, being an adventure bike, it's going to spend a lot of its life doing exactly what I'm doing right now. On the freeways, on the highways, doing big kilometres, and you want to be comfortable, or the more comfortable you are, the more you enjoy those big distance rides. So I'm in 6th gear at the moment, and 100 kilometres an hour, and it's doing about 5,800 revs. So yeah, just purring along at that speed. We'll have a look at it at 110, a bit further up the road. Vibrations wise, nil. Can't feel anything. The seat is really comfortable. It's better than the T700. A little bit more cushion in it. And there is a lip on the standard seat, so it's sort of holding the back of your bum in place. And that feels good. And basically the ergonomics, I'm 5'8" tall, and the ergonomics of this bike, I would say, are perfect for me. The mirrors are fantastic, nice and big, you got great visibility behind you, so yeah, really good. The dash, the visibility of the dash is fantastic. Like bright sunny day today, I can see it really clearly. Oh, and the other thing, you can adjust the windscreen on the fly, which is really easy. Got the throttle lock on, and you can just, there's 60mm of adjustment here. So there we go, that's in its highest position. Don't really know whether there's much difference. Yeah, obviously would be throwing the wind over your head a bit more. Yeah, it does make a little bit of a difference. Okay, we're just coming up to 110 km/h limit, so we'll bring it up to 110. So 110, yeah, it's revving a bit, so 6,300. Still smooth as butter, no vibrations. It's saying 4.1 litres 100 at this speed, so that's still pretty good. That's just one thing you've got to get used to with these small capacity bikes, is they're going to be revving a lot more than your larger capacity bike. So once you get your head around that, these engines I reckon are in their happy spot revving. They love to rev. I know my little GS310, it'll be doing similar sort of revs, and it'll do it all day long. Yeah, gee, I find the suspension on the road, on the blacktop, is perfect. I think it's the sweet spot. I'm really happy with it. It's not too stiff, not too soft, it's just right. It's just really good. So here's some more dirt here. I'll stand up in the standing position. The balls of my feet on the pegs. My knees are actually gripping the top of the seat, between the seat and the fuel tank, which feels really good actually, gripping the seat. And the tank, the shape of the tank's great. Just perfect. They've done a really good job with that between the seat and the fuel tank. Yeah, gee, just by gripping the seat, and so you got the padding of the seat with your knees. And again, I'm 5'8", so I reckon it's this bike's purpose built for me. That's great. You might even get away with not needing the old steg pegs as well, because you can grip this bike pretty good as it is. I like that. Oh yeah. loves to rev. It's pretty good. Handles great. Yeah, it goes good. Well, there's a little bit of a taste of what I can do. I'm impressed. Oh. Okay, we're just entering Mount Disappointment now on 30 kilometres an hour. Just hitting the ABS off. Did that work? Yeah, it's off. Okay. Beautiful day for it today. It's a beautiful bike to ride. Suspension's great. Feels light. The bike to, you know, throw around. Loves this sort of shit. Interesting to note, last night I filled the fuel tank up to full, and I've done 100 kilometres now since I refueled it, and that fuel gauge has not budged. A bit like the T700, you've got to do about 130 kilometres on the T700 before it will drop its first notch. But hopefully I'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, look, 100k already and has not even moved. So yeah, I'll take the bike into, there's a quarry in here that I've been numerous times before. But we'll get this bike over here. Probably plonk it in here. Looks like a good spot. So CFMOTO 450MT. The MT means multi-function touring. The bike looks fantastic, really T700 like. You know, the T700 is such a fantastic bike, and this is very, very similar. Or, you know, albeit a 450 engine. CFMOTO, well done, great package, great looking bike, and they're selling a swag of these bikes worldwide, so you can certainly see why. You know, it's an adventure bike, it's not a dual sport bike, it's specifically an adventure bike, so it's designed to do those long miles on the blacktop and then allow you to go off-road when you need to, and this certainly does that in spades. It's LAMS approved, so that opens it up to any of the learner people out there. So that's a really good selling point as well, and a great entry-level bike for anyone wanting to get into adventure riding. This would be a great bike to start with, and particularly at the price of $9,790 with 12 months registration here in Australia. You know, that's just fantastic. So the colours, the bike comes in two colours. This is the Tundra grey colour. Love the look of this, of this grey, and there's also the Zephyr blue, which, you know, also looks good. I'll put a graphic up of that one. Yeah, so the engine, let's have a look at that. This is obviously the heart of the bike, and it's a CFMOTO developed engine. It's a liquid cooled 4-stroke parallel twin double overhead cam 270-degree crank, 449cc. 32.5 kilowatts or 44 horsepower it develops, and 44 newton meters of torque. Bosch electronic fuel injection, electric start. It's got a slipper clutch, 6-speed gearbox. Oil changes, they recommend every 5,000, and valve clearance every 40,000. But yeah, if you're using this bike more off-roady, they sort of recommend to do those intervals at half of those numbers. And the oil is just a 10W40 oil to run in it. So yeah, there's a good look at the engine. You can see the sight glass down there. I'll run the camera. Let's go over this side. Have a look at this side of the engine. There's your 449cc. Down under here, I don't know whether the camera will pick it up. There's your drain bolt there, and over the front of the engine is the oil filter down in there. So that's pretty easy to get to. You just got to take the bash plate off
We actually may even be able to get that off with the bash plate on, but yeah, obviously way easier with the bash plate off. The gear selector here, obviously foldable, and it's positioned fairly well. It's up a little bit high, but that's good. You know, I'm wearing the motocross boots today and having no problem selecting the gears. So that position there with boots on is perfect. Foldable, nice and beefy, looks like good quality. The foot pegs are fantastic. They're wide, not all that long, but they're a good size, and the rubber inserts have been taken out on this bike. So yeah, with those rubber inserts out, getting plenty of grip. The side stand is good. There's a little knob here. Little knob here. You know, you can use your foot to kick the side stand down. You find that really easy. The footprint is really small. I would definitely get an aftermarket larger footprint on that. And that's one of the accessories that CFMOTO do have. There's the horn up there. What else can we look at on this side? Pillion pegs, really good. They're good size. Rubber inserts as well. Beefy. You know, these can be removed. This just bolted to the frame there. And you can see how the subframe here is just bolted onto the main frame as well. And this bike's fitted with the carrier racks, CFMOTO carrier racks, and the CFMOTO top box carrier or rear plate there. These grab handles at the back are really good, help you manoeuvre the bike around, and great for the pillion passenger to hold on to. So the pillion, nice size seat there for the pillion, good size pegs. So yeah, they've thought about that a lot, and they've come up with a great design as far as that goes. So we'll talk about the dimensions now. The length of the bike is 2,210 millimetres. Now the Himalayan is actually 35 millimetres longer, and the T700 is, so it's 155 millimetres longer. So it's not a lot. So very similar size, particularly to this T700. Wheelbase is 1,505 millimetres, which is 5 mil shorter than the Himalayan, and it's 85 millimetres shorter than the T700. Seat height in this standard form is 820 mil, can be lowered to 800 mil by adjusting the rear shock here. I'll take you down just under here. Where is it? There, you can just drop the bolt in there. I hope the camera's picking that up. And yeah, you'll lose another 20 mil just by adjusting that. At 5'8", I can flat foot it on this bike. Ground clearance is 220 mil. Himalayan's 230 and the T700 is 240. One of the things I do like about this bike too is the linkage system doesn't really hang down all that low. So I'll just show you. There's the bash plate. If I pan the camera around, there's the linkage system back there. So not like the T700 where it hangs down a fair bit. So it's up high. Probably my only concern is, if you look, can I get the camera on it? That adjuster at the bottom of the shock is facing forward, and that could get hit by rocks under there, so maybe a better bash plate with a deflector or something on it could protect that. But that to me is vulnerable where it is. So B&B make bash plates, they make all sorts of accessories for this bike. So if you want a decent bash plate, B&B make covers for the brake reservoirs and various other bits and pieces. They make great pannier racks as well. So yeah, check out B&B Off-Road for some really cool accessories, particularly like bark busters. Get rid of these plastic ones up there, put some quality bark busters on there, and yeah, really set the bike off. So while I'm down here, you can see the exhaust pipe there, twin pipes coming out, and leading up here. And one of the big things I like about this bike is the sound. Yeah, so the sound of this bike is sweet. Let's start it up. We're in neutral, keys on. Have a listen to that. That is cool. That sounds great. So they've done a great job of that. Yeah, really like the sound of that. When you pull up at the lights in traffic, all you want to do is rev this thing just to listen to the pipe. So that's fantastic. Okay, so the dry weight of the bike is 175 kilos. Its wet is 192 because it's got a 17.5 litre fuel tank, which is great. T700's only got a 16 litre tank. So yeah, that extra litre and a half is welcome, really. Yeah, the Himalayan's got a 17 litre tank. I think the fuel range, they claims around about 350 kilometres on this bike, and it needs 95 unleaded fuel in it as well. I don't like you to put 91 in it, so 95 or better is what you need to run on this bike. So that's something to consider. T700's the same. They prefer you to put 95 in the T7. The frame, it's a steel frame, twin spar, tubular frame, and you can see that there. Yeah, oh, it's beefy, but when you look at it, like these cross members here aren't very big, they're adequate. Similar design as the T7. So the T7s are way thicker than this, but you know, the T7's got a way bigger motor. So yeah, everything's, when you look at it, I don't think any of the frame is overly engineered. It's just probably what it needs. You know, any of these flanges that are welded on, the linkage system down in there, nothing looks really beefy, but just adequate, just enough for what the bike's designed for. So, you know, they'll probably save a little bit of money doing that, not over-engineering things. You know, there's a look at the radiator there. It's got a plastic guard on that. So I'm sure the aftermarket boys will give you something better than that, but although it looks okay. Seat off, another simple function. Turn the key, seat comes off. I'll just sit there. The spanner to adjust the preload is there, and yeah, this is under the seat, so you can see these grab handles where they're bolted, and there's a toolkit there, fuses, there's the battery, and here's the air intake here. And to get to the air filter, there's two screws just down there that you need to remove, and then that pulls out the lid and you can access the air filter. But I'll do a video on that when I get home. Okay guys, I'm going to have a crack at removing the air filter, so the snorkel. I'm just going to undo these two screws down there that must hold the snorkel on, and then we'll be able to get to the air filter. Okay guys, we've got the two screws out. Now I'll just get Bob to go through the process. So take that, take the snorkel off there, Bob. Let's go. There's the airbox there. Right, so let's have a crack at that, Bob.
So there's that holding
sort of wedge, isn't it?
wedge
type thing.
It's got rails on both sides.
You can see those rails that locate in the filter. You can see that on the side of the filter there where those rails locate in it, but that wedge comes out. Then there's the filter, and there's a frame around the filter. Okay, so then the rubber side goes up, and that's where the dirty air goes in first, doesn't it? So let's just bang it back in. So yep, that's the paper filter. It looks nice and clean in there. So you can see the locating lugs where it slides in. Yeah, and there's the airbox. You can see a bit of dirt in the airbox there, but up there where the air goes, it's nice and clean. So there's the airbox. Okay guys, we'll just go through the process. So there's the filter there. So you've got to sort of hold it up to where it sort of seats on top of the box there. And then just feed that wedge in. And there it is there. Too easy. There we go, and then now we're just going to put the snorkel back in. So there's two lugs that it locates into at the top. That's it there, and then we'll just pop the two screws back in there, and that was the air filter. Too easy. But another simple operation. And Unifilter Australia have developed a foam filter for this bike. So this bike comes standard with a paper filter, and Unifilter have come on board, and you can get a foam filter and also a foam pre-filter as well for the bike. So that's brilliant. That's what it needs here in Australia. Not a big fan of the paper filters. Yeah, so looking at this side, you can see the brake lever here, the main brake lever, also foldable, looks good quality. That's a fairly big pedal there, so that's good. And again, the foot pegs are great, nice and wide. Get plenty of purchase on those. Yeah, there's the oil filter cap there. The brake, I like the brake reservoirs. You can clearly see the fluid level in these. I like that, and also up on the handlebars here, so that's great when you can see the fluid level. So just turning the dash on. This is a 5-inch TFT screen. Yeah, Bluetooth connectivity. It's got a USB and USB-C charger on the side here. Just pull this cover off. Can I give you a look at that? Hope you can pick that up. Right there. So that's nice and handy there. Two different displays you can have. I'll hit the enter button. We'll scroll down to the settings and hit enter on that. And theme, there's theme. Enter on that. And then you've either got that one or that display. I'll select that. Go back, back, back. And then there's that display there. So it gives you a look at the display. Yeah, it's telling me that the side stand is down there. There's the fuel, there's the coolant temperature. So yeah, it's all pretty good. And one other feature that they're working on that Matt, the sales manager, was telling me is that they are currently working on some software where you can Bluetooth your navigation straight to this screen. So possibly in the next 6 months that will be either an app or a software update. But yeah, stay tuned on that one. That'll be fantastic if you can do that. I find the seat really comfortable. They've done a great job of this. The design of this seat, it's kept the seat height low. You can see it's got a fairly decent drop in it. And when I'm standing on the foot pegs riding the bike, my knees grip in right in here on that padding of the seat, and it's really comfortable. So the shape of the tank and this seat have done a really good job. As far as standing on this bike while you're riding goes, it puts you in a real happy place. Okay, so let's have a look at the suspension. We'll have a look at the top. Where can I throw the camera? So you'll notice, so the front suspension is KYB 41mm upside down forks, and it's got compression and dampening adjustment on the front. No preload, but yeah, there's your KYB forks. Yeah, they're only 41mm. You know, the Himalayan's got 43, the T700's got 43mm, but they've put the 41s on here, and it may be a little bit of a weight saving, but gee, the suspension works well, so I've got no complaints there. So yeah, there's a bit of a look at the front shocker setup. In the rear, you got this single KYB shock. It does have preload adjustment. You can see that at the top there where you can use the spanner which is underneath the seat. This here is just the reservoir. Doesn't do anything other than being the reservoir for the shock. And yeah, there's a linkage system down there, and below that, as I showed you earlier, is the, if I can get the camera on it, hopefully I can, there's the adjuster there. Now these J Dewin brakes, front and rear. It's a 4-pot single caliper disc brake at the front. The front disc rotor is 320mm disc, and you've got the tubeless tyres fitted as well. And these are the CST. CST is a Chinese made tubeless tyre, Ride Ambro A4s. That's what the tyre is. And they're very similar to the Pirelli STRs. And up the back, single piston caliper, 240 disc at the back. And yeah, the same deal at the back here. Your tubeless tyre, your CSTs. The back is 140/70 by 18, and that's another thing I like about this bike. 21 inch at the front, 18 inch at the back. Himalayan runs a 17 at the back like the DR650, but this, the 21 and 18, really is the sweet spot. Huge selections of tyres for both those sizes, so that's a win. Yeah, look, I'll give you a look at the headlights set up in the front of the bike here. So yeah, this sort of like running light around here, and there's your low beam, and that's your high beam. And these lights are just fantastic. One of the best lights setups I've seen at night, just from a stock bike, so really impressed with that. They've done a great job. Everything's LED, blinkers, lights, all LED. The rear tail light works beautifully at night, nice and big, so they've done a great job of that. Comes with a 2-year warranty, and you get an additional year's warranty as long as you get it serviced at a CFMOTO dealer. Let's take it up this track here. So I've got traction control and ABS on at the moment. No problem. What a great bike. Loving it. Suspension's great. Right, let's see if I can turn this ABS off. I'm below 30 kilometres an hour. Saying ABS and traction control off. Happy days. I'm having so much fun. This is a great bike. It's really easy to ride. Easy to control. Not really sure where I'm going here. Let's go this way. Probably get lost. But these are the sort of tracks that the MT450 will excel in. Just these dirt roads. Be able to do the blacktop miles to get to these tracks, and then have a great day out exploring. Bit of a downhill here, I don't know whether the camera picks that up or not. Front brake, just one finger.
doing what I need it to do. Be careful here, just in case some traffic's coming. That's all good. Oh, I wonder whether we can go up that track. Oh, we'll give it a crack. Just explore. Doing it, no worries. No effort. I've only got the bloody throttle just cracked open. No worries. No effort at all. Sweet engine. Yeah, it doesn't rip your arms off like the bigger bikes do. It's certainly got enough power. Certainly have a lot of fun on this bike. Got to remember the stock tyres on this thing. Well, if you can't have fun on this bike, you're hard to please. Yeah, this is great. Just feel you get confidence on these smaller bikes, or I do. That's why these little bikes appeal to a wide range of people. Up on the pegs, beautiful standing position, suspension's working really well. I'll just drop it down a gear. What are we in first now? So that's okay. A little bit of a climb here, a little bit rough and rocky. Being mindful we're still on those stock tyres, but that's handled that, no worries. Great that the clutch is really light. Still going up. No worries. Took a bit of a hit on the front end then. It's rough. But it's doing it. Suspension's taking it. No worries. Like 155 was its top speed. Okay guys, I just refueled the bike. It took 8.65 litres. 8.65. Now let's see how many K I've done since I refueled it yesterday. 216.7 kilometres. Let's have a look. Saying 3.8 litres per 100. And averaging 58, so 216.7, and we've used 8 litres. So what's that? That's 4 litres 100, isn't it? That's pretty good.
So I just want to point out, also attention to detail. This little plastic holder here is for the chain, something for the chain to rest on when you're doing a change there.
Okay guys, just to give you a bit of a look at the headlight. Completely dark here. And I'm really impressed with the low beam. Let's have a look at the high beams. Man, that's fantastic. Yeah, that's impressive. Look at that. That just lights up for as far as you can see, really, on the road. I know, a few hundred metres. That's high beam's fantastic, and low beam, just really wide beam. That's brilliant. Wow, I'm impressed. Yeah, we'll go and have a look at this. This is black, just black here. And living in Australia, you love having that light lighting up the sides of the road, just looking out for wildlife. And that is brilliant. And then when I kick the high beam in, wow. Wow, I am blown away. That is fantastic. That's impressive. Well done, CFMOTO. That's a winner. Anyway, I've been really impressed with the CFMOTO 450 MT. Absolutely loved doing the review on the bike. Sad to hand it back tomorrow. They've really put a lot of work into this bike. So much detail that they've put into it. Foldable mirrors, they're great, and I like that this cluster here is also lit up as well, so easy to find. And that the high beam switch on the front of the cluster, which you use with your pointer finger on your left hand, is so easy to use, so easy to find at night. You know it's right there, and yeah, that's a fantastic idea. So just the attention to detail, that's what's knocking me out with this bike, attention to detail. From head to toe, they have pretty much looked at everything. So really pleased with the bike, so happy to have finally done the review on it. Big shout out to Matt, the sales manager at CFMOTO. Really appreciate you allowing me to review the bike over the weekend. And looking forward to hopefully doing more videos for CFMOTO. I'll give a shout out to my mate Barry for loaning me the drone. Really, this will be the first video that I've ever used a drone, and Barry was kind enough to lend me his drone for this video, so thank you mate. And it was a little DJI Neo drone, fantastic little drone. Alright, well, hope you've enjoyed the review. Please subscribe, it makes a world of difference. And I'll catch you on the next episode of Full Pelt Adventures.